Today, on This American Dice, how far does the suspicion between the scorpion and the unicorn go? What damning information is discovered about the most powerful woman in the city? What is the whole of the merchant quarter on edge? And what makes a reliable ally turn his back on the magistrates? Find out today on This American Dice.
It's still this kind of the late end of fall, or the very beginning of winter. Snow is very, very light. So there's only kind of a light dusting now and again. For the most part, things haven't... winter hasn't begun in earnest where things become difficult to travel. And even in winter on this kind of major river, travel is still possible. It just becomes more dangerous and more of a hassle. So you guys have spent the last 3 or so days after Watchful's murder investigating. And now we return to the streets to look around at what we can see.
A large city surrounded by green walls and acres of poppy fields. A group of monks traveled toward the city, exchanging prayers for whatever alms the poor peasants of the countryside can spare. In the noble quarter, we see a beautiful but imposing palace and a foreign-looking minareted estate. In the temple quarter, we see the glistening white temple of the sun goddess with a 60-foot pole topped by a shimmering golden spear, and the temple of the fortune of wealth with its towering statue of the patriot god of the city. Next door in the merchant quarter, we see busy streets with noisy merchants selling wares from all over Rokugan and beyond. On the other side of the Bay of Drowned Honor, the fisherman's quarter, dirtier with poorer commoners, meaner gangs, and shabby dwellings amid the docks and warehouses. We pass the leather workers' quarter, the home of the Ada, the Untouchables, and the only building of notice there, the city crematorium. Finally, we arrive at Teardrop Island, the license quarter, with its perpetual twilight of hanging lanterns, fine sake and geisha houses. We follow a man in a basket hat as he's beckoned inside by a beautiful geisha. He enters and removes his hat. We see one of the monks from the beginning. Ryoko Owari, City of Lies.
We're going to start with Yugure. I'll ask Yugure, what is it that you are up to?
I am doing family time.
Mm-hmm.
So probably helping move to Tayo's old section of the house.
Okay.
And
So-
just family time.
All right. So we see Mizaki, your wife, and your 2 children. Who I don't think have names.
It's
the 10-year-old and the 8-year-old.
It's Ichi and Ni.
The 10-year-old boy is named what?
If we had a third, it'd be called San.
So what? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Ichi, Ni, San.
What's the 10-year-old boy's name?
Which one's older?
He is older.
First one is Ichi.
All right. We see Ichi and Ni helping you to move some things. Just little things, perhaps, as the servants can do most of this stuff. And your wife is kind of directing them. These quarters that Tayo had left are bigger, but not bigger by much. Are you holding on to the other quarters?
So maybe. I mean, I probably would talk to the other residents of the house about it, but I'm also in this endeavor trying to get in good graces with my wife, because for whatever reason she seems off-put by me. So if I feel like I can get away with having 2 rooms, I don't want 2 rooms, but...
Don't think of it as rooms. Think of it as, suites.
Yeah.
That, each of you guys... there were 4 suites rather than that. So, with one person, one magistrate here.
Right.
With Narutoki, this place was, very big.
Right.
And, a lot of those places could have been used for personal offices and other things like that, whereas now, if we divide those into suites for where you guys live, each of you has your own, apartment, essentially, there.
Well, you had said, I think, last time that Misaki felt that it was smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to give her something bigger. So if I can offer her the second suite to make her happy, then Like maybe she can use it for hobbies or something.
Okay. So she'll direct the servants to move some of the things for you and the children into the larger of the two suites, the suite that Tayo had been in with his family, and meanwhile have them move some other things that she came down with into the suite where you had been. And she says, like, well, at least the children will have a little bit more room to kind of stretch out. The city is big, but it feels a little cramped compared to home.
Certainly is not home, and I'll like hold something that maybe was from home, but like different.
What is that thing?
A tapestry. It's like hanging on the wall, and I pull it off the wall a little bit and feel the material.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think she'll say, like, you brought so little of your home with you.
You know that I don't need much, but I did regret some things I left behind, implying that it's her and the kids, thing one and thing two.
Yeah, well, at least now there's some more space for us to live here together.
She still seem like distant.
Sounds like you're reading her.
Yeah.
Go for it. Sagacious. 11, not a bad roll at all. 11. All right, so you get 3 of those questions to ask her. And after you touch the tapestry, I think afterwards she'll like readjust it or something like that.
I put it back perfectly.
So, and then talk to the servants about dinner for tonight, telling them what to go to buy, directing them about going to the market to buy various such and such produce, and to the fisherman's quarter to buy this and this.
She seems so different than I remember. It's only been a few months. I would like to know what she's really feeling.
Again, she still seems like she doesn't trust you in this city. That's the thing. She doesn't trust you here. So,
well, what does she wish I would do?
She wishes. This is somewhat annoying because I'm going to try to give you different answers because the last time we had this scene with her, we asked the exact same questions.
Yeah.
So, she doesn't trust you here in this city. What she wishes you would do is leave. She doesn't trust you in the city. She thinks you're having an affair. She wants you to leave this city. There we go.
How could I get her to see that I'm trustworthy?
Get her to see that you're trustworthy. You'd have to show that you're devoted to your family first and foremost.
Right. That's what I was trying to do right now. That's why I'm helping move and everything. Teaching thing 1 and thing 2 about the value of hard work and not have the servants do everything for you. Like, she probably keeps asking the servants to, like, move things, and then I'm, like, telling them, like, let's get that before they do. Let them get that vase, we're going to get this one. Me and the kids will carry it together, except for I'm doing all the lifting. That's not the... So, even if she's distant, I'll at least have some time with the kids, how to move your stuff.
All right. I think they're kind of just going about this process. I mean, they're 10 and 8, so they're not like little bumbling,
right?
Like absolute like toddlers, just like kind of stumbling around. But they're not able to move much. So essentially, it's you moving things and them like bringing 1 or 2 things. Almost the kind of thing of like, oh, we've set up this area. Where are we putting these various things away?
Yeah, we might need Misaki for that part. I don't know where she wants it, but all right. Well, I'll have to figure out how to prove that I'm devoted to the family, even though I'm supposed to mark loyalty, or duty, I mean, this session.
All right. What's Aji up to when we encounter him in this episode? Or at this point in this episode?
He is continuing to look for Narutoki's journal.
Mm-hmm. Where is he doing that? What's his game plan?
Going to try to commune with the ancestor.
All right.
Hopefully,
that's not
where to go.
It's not one Aji does too often.
It's not one that Aji is good at either.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Aji rolls a bless.
Mm-hmm.
Seems bad.
Bless you.
A 6.
6. All right.
Get your XP.
Ancestors are my friend.
Ancestors like, fuck you, dude.
Negative 1.
Okay. Ooh. All right. You get there as one of the servants comes and says, I'm like, excuse me, Lord. There's a message for you.
Yes.
Here you are.
What is it?
They give you a short little message that's been written.
What does it say?
It's from Yogo Osako, and it basically just says, this is to let you know that last night, someone arrived at the House of Foreign Stories and killed Okasan. We believe the woman who replaced Magda as the madam of the House of Foreign Stories. We believe it was Michitaka. Not Michitaka. Yeah, Michitaka. Narutoki's brother.
Oh, gotta go to the House of Foreign Stories then.
All right.
Seems urgent.
Okay.
Go there. Relatively, what's the time difference between the murder and the message?
So you get this message at, let's say, 9 or 10 a.m., and it just said last night.
All right. To the House of Foreign Stories then.
Mm-hmm.
See what I can learn.
All right. When you get there, Shinjo Sanafusa, the patron, is there, and he's like kind of shaking his head as he's walking around the place. There's no body. That Ada have already kind of carted that off. And he says, "Oh, Aji-san, wonderful." He does a short little bow to you. He says, "It's good to see that you're here. I'm glad we talked before. It's good to see that you've arrived
Likewise.
to look into this. More problems. First Magda and then this."
Yes.
I mean, on one hand, it would make sense that there'd be trouble after Magda left. She was so good at her job that I guess it would all be some problems. But on the other hand, I mean, this is supposed to be a safe place.
Yes. I'm not keeping the peace very well. But what has happened here?
He says, looks to me like one of those scorpions sent another goon to deal with my institution. They've always been jealous of that.
Racist.
Yeah. Can you tell me what they did? You scorpion?
Yeah. Sent someone in, strangled that poor woman to death.
Strangle? Doesn't seem very scorpion-like.
Dastardly characters. On one hand, this is their city, and they control the laws, and yet, on the other hand, what do? Break the laws rampantly, left and right.
Have you noticed anything else?
He says, that's not. He says, well, I mean, that's got to be it. I'm sure they've done this kind of thing before.
All right. 3 person.
Sounds good.
Roll the 4.
Roll the 4. All right.
That's good.
Power level.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What would you like to see happen, Sanafusa-san?
He says, I know that this woman was just a commoner, but this is 3 times now that these dastardly characters have interfered with my family's business. He says, this is a big problem. Now they've gone and either kidnapped or killed Magda, and something's got to be done about this situation.
What was that 3rd time?
And he says, he'll say they stole right out from under me.
I don't think I was a magistrate here when that happened.
No, you were not, but something that was a great insult.
What did they steal?
He'll say they stole a very valuable asset from my stables. Look at that horse that the boy rides around on. The one with the black hooves and the black body and the white hooves and the star. That was a prized beast. I mean, on one hand, I can understand why anybody would want that. But on the other hand, to just take it, no honor at all. It steams me, it does.
How did they just take it from you?
And he goes, they're thieves.
All right. It is a magnificent horse.
And he says, and that kid rides around on it. I think he kind of sees himself off, and he's kind of muttering about this. Like, that kid rides around on it. Tato splits. Tayo. Where do we join Tayo in this part of the episode?
Can I roll a magistrate move?
He wants to just start again. Whatever.
This is kind of almost, I know it's per session, but I kind of feel like that's the kind of thing that we need downtime to go through.
All right.
So, do you guys want to do it that way? Does that part make sense, or should we just do it as with the beginning of each session?
I'm just trying to amass wealth and favor.
He's just trying to be more powerful. He's got at least a year.
I don't know. I think the beginning of session move. Use it every session.
All right, go for it.
Just shows how competent court.
Or not.
Yeah.
You fail the roll.
Could be,
That's true.
could be that we're mad at us.
Real
Or me.
us.
Yeah.
Get me out of
Say
there.
me.
It's you.
10. Not this time.
And that's reward of loyalty.
Yes.
You performed well and been recognized. Gain 1 wealth and 1 favor with your lord. So these are... You're apparently impressing, theoretically,
The champion.
yeah, Doji Satsume, the Emerald Champion.
Okay.
All right.
And then, you have an idea for what I want to do, but question, I guess there's not schools, right, for kids? They're like, I guess, like, do you hire tutors, or how's that?
Yeah, you would probably just hire a tutor.
Do we have, like, a tutor?
You can.
Can our kids go to the same school?
Yeah, I was going to make sure, maybe since their birthday is coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and since we also moved out, and specifically since his kids are there, they're going to have to the same tutor at the magistrate's place.
Okay,
Children. So that's one thing, at least, in the
All right.
background.
sure. I think that probably runs you a wealth.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Do your kids have names?
Yeah.
Whole family has names.
Now I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
Genko and Kageko.
Who needs names when you got numbers?
Ancient dragon tradition.
Number them all.
It's very honorable to have.
I have 4 cousins that are named each.
It's the number 1 name.
I do want to, so I'm going to go to either Lean Meat and the Emerald Cup, or one or the other, and try and get some info.
All right, which would you prefer to go to?
Definitely be bringing ample. JIC. So we can start it.
All
No,
right.
Lean Meat's more fun. Let's do it.
All right. So you go to see Lean Meat. Lean Meat you can meet up with him at his gambling yacht. We'll say once again, just the easy place to find him. He's nearby. There's a game. There's possibly like a game running outside of the yacht, like a small game that he's playing with 1 or 2 people. And when he sees you, he's like, "Oh, no bow, Tayo-sama. Hello."
How's business?
He says, "Oh, I don't really do business, but the game's always fun. It helps."
We want to chat for a bit.
Oh, sure. I mean, these guys want to keep playing, so if you'd want to chat through the game, I'd be happy with that.
Is that true?
No, you guys have played dice games with him before and with a few other people.
Maybe if just you and I play after this.
Sure, I think
Sure, just go first.
yeah, there's like the game goes on for a little bit. If you're down to wait for that.
How long is it?
Tell me when it's gone on for too long. 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay.
I guess you don't have time for me?
Sounds like you got to read him.
Okay. One time I could have enticed him with vice.
One of us stay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. So they're like, no, just grab a seat here.
How could I get him to talk alone?
He kind of like looks around, and you notice the other dudes that are there are all the Fire Eater firemen. One of the guys that's there is the dude who they call Bigger, who is you gathered probably from a previous encounter with him that he's the one in charge of the Fire Eaters.
Mm-hmm.
He's not as big as Ample, but he's pretty big. And so like all these other dudes are that. He can't be seen talking to you and knowing that these guys, like, it can't be seen that these guys are like, he seems like he's in a real sticky predicament with talking to anybody involved in like law enforcement stuff.
Okay.
So where it's like, he seems very hesitant to be like, yeah, hold on, let me go off with this cop for a minute and have this conversation. But if you were to sit down, he seems like he's willing to talk to you there, like in front of these dudes.
Does he know I have the Emerald Cup?
If you want him to.
Sure.
Maybe
he knows that.
Okay.
Excuse me. Well, yeah, I guess you're relatively busy. I didn't want to disturb anything going on here.
He's like, no, come on, join the game. Always be good to bring a fresh player into things.
No, I've never been great at gambling. But the fortunes don't always favor me with dice or whatever instrument we're using.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could get a drink or something later. You to it, your character.
Okay. He'll probably join you. So he seems like he's kind of like, oh well, maybe we can pick up that game. Yeah, you're right. Maybe we can pick up that game later.
All right, sounds good. What's the character wish I do? I guess you sort of answered that, just in case.
This is going to sound counterproductive. What does he wish you would do? Lean wishes you would make sure no other magistrates bother him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Doesn't want that.
All right. Well, in that case, I tip my magistrate's hat, which I'm sure we all wear every time.
Yeah.
And go to the Emerald Cup.
Okay.
And hopefully wait for it. Yeah.
So it was
giant.
It would be kind of
10 feet.
It'd be kind of lame to just redo that scene again, just in a different spot.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get there, I think it maybe takes a while for him to join you, and maybe we'll have to come back to that.
Sure.
Later. But when you get to the Emerald Cup, it's pretty busy. Pretty busy place.
And
a lot of people around.
Make sure to not look like I'm a magistrate at this point, too.
Okay.
Took the hat off?
I believe you took that off.
It's more probably an issue. Yeah, like your badge. Yeah.
I think the director.
And the posters all around the city that say, respect your magistrate, has a drawing of you.
Mm-hmm. Hats off to our boys in blue. But yeah, so you come in. It's definitely the place is busier than normal.
Are there any people that look like they're nobles or prominent in some way? Or merchants, I guess?
Go ahead and read a situation.
Everything.
Also pretty good.
10 plus.
Well, without even asking any of those questions, you can see that there's not a lot of nobles, at least like in the place, at least like that are.
They're pretty rare in this.
Yeah, this is the northern part of the merchants' quarter that doesn't see as many nobles coming over here. In part just because the stuff that's usually sold in this area isn't relevant to them, and they can just send their servants to go get those things on their own.
Mm-hmm. But any like merchants or anything?
Which of these people are probably merchants, but what are the questions that you're looking for?
Good point.
They seem to have money to stay.
Okay, what's the best way into information on Serioku?
Ooh.
So she's Serioku.
You look around and you know that there's like strong-arm firemen that are here pretty regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And Auntie seems to have like a good relationship enough with them. And so honestly, if you just talk to her, she could probably tell you that stuff.
Who to talk to or the actual...
The best way into that information could probably be through her, and you know that she might be getting this information from these firemen.
Gotcha. While I have 3 questions, what should I be on the lookout for?
You look around at these strong firemen, and there are a lot of them there. And then you realize they seem to be actually guarding the place, which they're often there, and they're kind of like the local gang that people kind of merchants that want to make sure everything's run smoothly probably give some money to, but then you're looking around and like, oh, they seem like they are purposely guarding this place. So there are some that are drinking. They're not freaking Secret Service agents. They're gangsters who are like, but you can see like they don't seem to be paying for most of their drinks. Sorry. Yeah. And like where they're kind of positioned in the room. Again, they're not Secret Service agents, but you're like, oh, there were 2 of them playing dice outside. Oh, there are another 2 like upstairs doing this. There's another 2 over here. So like you'll usually see a couple of them, and now there's like
most
5 or 6 here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and remember the strong arm firemen are the guys who either like have hilariously tattoos of muscly arms, or I'm going to say they. And you kind of established that yellow is their color that they wear all the time. I'm going to say Hulk Hogan style, wear the like ribbons on their arms to be like, look at these 12-inch pythons. Yeah.
And they have a big rivalry with the Fire Eaters, right? Is that the deal?
No, that's the Moment's Edge. These guys are in the north part of the merchant quarter. Okay. The 2 that you know have These guys, Yugure and Ishii, did tell you that they came and saw a fight that a bunch of firemen got in, and that was, for us now in this game, months and months ago. Like when you guys were pretty early on in the city.
That was Moment's Edge and Fire Eaters?
That was the Strong Arm and...
Moment's Edge.
That wasn't the Moment's Edge. It was the Strong Arm and the... Firemen of Daikoku's Garden.
Oh.
A group we haven't really met.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
who was fighting in the opening credits?
The Fire Eaters in the Moment's Edge.
Okay.
In the Fisherman's Quarter. Those are the guys who you've kind of seen most often involved in like bad stuff.
So it was Daikoku's Garden and who else?
And the Strong Arm.
Okay.
They were involved in that.
Those are rivals.
That fire.
And then Fire Eaters and rivals.
Mm-hmm. These gangs, they would probably be gangs with one another as well, but just their kind of natural boundaries where the bay is. Mm-hmm. That it kind of makes sense that they don't have to go over there to deal with it.
So Moment's Edge and Fire Eaters are
Fisherman Quarter.
Daikoku's Garden and Strong Arm are more Merchant's Quarter.
And the Little Gate. Those are the three in the Merchant's Quarter, which is the biggest quarter.
Oh, and that's the neighborhood.
Oh, no, I think you're up here.
Oh, two gates. Two gates.
Oh, the downhill is the area around where the Little Gate firemen are.
And then I have one more question. The, what enemy is who's in control here?
Who's in control here?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking around, and the person tenuously in control here is Baishi Korichika.
Oh, he's here?
He's not here. But you realize that you're like, they should have the money to probably hire these dudes. But you're kind of thinking back to stuff that he said to you, and maybe there's like a montage of things that he said, and you realize that there were conversations that occurred here that if stuff happens here, he still knows it. So whatever information comes out of this place, it still gets funneled right to him.
He gave us to me.
Yeah, and I think it's still technically, because since you're a magistrate, it's no good to have you be like, and I own this private place.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, it's still under his name.
Mm-hmm.
And so you realize, like, oh, these people answer to me, or Auntie, like, works like for you, but she probably also works for Korichika at the same time.
Okay. Her then, I guess.
Okay. Probably make this kind of quicker.
That's fine.
But yeah, so she'll, if you kind of sit down at a table, she can kind of come up to serve you drinks, and she'll be like, "Oh, Tayo-sama, wonderful to see you again."
Yeah, it's been a while. A lot more business.
And she says, "Well, business has been fairly good."
Distinguished fireman here.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's good. That's good thing to worry about.
Yes, fires are always so dangerous. It's good to keep them happy, to make sure that they like this place enough to see that nothing goes wrong with it.
I was actually hoping to add a specific question. I don't know if you know anything about...
Are you reading this lady?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, you've asked her the several questions. Go, if you want to make that roll, go for it. Then you can ask her whatever.
Yeah. 9.
9. All right.
Oh, any of those questions. Okay. Was it Korichika's in charge?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or necessarily?
You're good. So she's like, yes, business has been good. We want to make sure that the firemen are happy in case there's any problems. That way, if there's a fire, we want to make sure they want to see this place doesn't burn down.
Has Korichika been talking? I don't know if I'd say his name, but my uncle.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Since we're the same thing. Have you talked to my uncle recently?
She says, he's, of course, he's still a wonderful
asshole,
like supporter of ours.
What? That's good. I was actually wondering, one of my other more distant relatives knew anything about Sarioku. If anyone here might work for her or anything.
Oh, from what I hear, nobody works for her anymore. Yeah. So after Watchful got murdered, she'll say. So yes, what she's saying is true. She'll say after what happened to her vassal, most of the other people that worked for her skipped town. They're gone. She's washed up. She's done.
How plugged in is Auntie?
She seems plugged in enough.
Okay. So yeah, who's taking over that business? Does she get people?
So she'll say, "It's I'm not sure of that, but I know things There's a lot of people who think things could get pretty rough.
Surely, people who discuss business here as well as pleasure. Maybe you haven't heard anything.
She says,
You know anyone who might?
she'll say, if those people turn up, I mean, there's other folks who would hire them, I'm sure, but at the moment, they seem to have either skipped town or are laying low. I can't decide on a voice for this woman. I almost want to do it as like old woman, stereotypical old woman, but thank you. So, and she'll basically say like, I just want to make sure things stay smooth here. Why do you think it's one of the reasons I invited all of them?
You're the one who.
Yeah. She goes, in case somebody comes after me.
Good point. I wouldn't want anything to happen to you. And I guess with her Soshi doing less business, I guess, more customers?
She says, a little bit. There's a little bit of an uptick, but it's been, business has still been good, but could always be doing better. No, she wouldn't say that. She says, oh, business is still fine. I just brought these guys in case there's any problems.
Okay. Thanks.
All right.
You didn't really tell me much. I'm gonna wait here. I'm meeting somebody.
All right. What's Ishii up to?
Well, as he promised in the last episode, I am investigating the governor.
All right. So, and this is that turn the stone to find the rot move?
Yeah, perfectly correct.
Is that what it's called exactly? Turn the stone to see the rot.
Ah, you're so close.
So when you perform a formal investigation of a person, roll plus sagacious. Okay.
I've got so far. I got it. I'm good. Thanks. Yes, real supportive.
Not a bad roll at all. 10.
Oh my god.
And it's plus sagacious, so you actually got more than 10,
12.
right?
Yeah.
12.
Thank
All
you.
right. So you learn
That's
compromising information, gain one blackmail over the person. So it says you learn compromising information, gain one blackmail over the person. You gain insight into the person's character, take
Yeah,
plus
I
one
get a
forward.
bunch of different choices.
Yeah.
I can choose 2 or 3 if I spend a favor or wealth.
Yeah. So.
I'm gonna definitely. I don't think I have any favor, so I'm going to spend a wealth.
Okay.
Choose 3. I'm gonna choose. They do not learn my investigation. I learn a secret about the person, or uncover a secret allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learn compromising. Those are the 3 I'm gonna pick.
Okay.
I want to learn good things.
All right. So we have a montage of you kind of investigating and speaking to a bunch of people, and secret about the person.
Or a secret allegiance.
Yeah. So the secret. So the compromising information. I'm not sure if this would be the secret or the compromising information. So you learn that a lot of these. So you learn that Shosuro Hyobu and the Shosuro family's legitimate opium harvesting and manufacturing operates in part as a front for illegal opium manufacturing and distribution. I think the secret you learn is that Shosuro Hyobu is moving against her competitors. There we go. So the compromising information is that she's involved in this at all, and the secret is that she's moving against her competitors. So you'll maybe speak to some people, some of the firemen about it. I think we could have maybe a conversation, see you talking to Shrimp about some of this stuff.
Low down people.
Yeah.
On the street, and also like 1 or 2 important.
Maybe bribing some folks here and there. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the big news that you find out there for sure.
That definitely takes me a good amount of time in my opinion.
Yeah. Yugure.
Alright, I got a question.
I'll try to answer it.
One day, a long time ago, there was a fire.
Yes.
Where was that?
There were several. Which one?
With the one that we, like...
Where you saw the firemen fighting with one another?
Yeah.
It was at the boundary between the Two Gates neighborhood in the Merchant Quarter and the Fields of Gold neighborhood in the Merchant's Quarter. And you know, one of the fireman groups was the Strong Arm Firemen.
Did we ever learn like what that building was? Like whose house, or was it a merchant shop? Do they live in their shops?
A lot of them live like above the shop or behind the shop or something. Yeah.
So I was wondering if we knew that, or maybe I would like to look into.
Rather than go back that far, I think you guys asked around about that, and it seemed like it was just a legit fire. Like, fires occur in the city, and it seemed to be just one of those fires.
But was this a merchant house shop?
Probably. I mean, it's the merchant quarter.
All right. Well, I'm going to go anyway. Not necessarily to that specific spot, but Yugure's going to have a new thing that he does every day.
Mm-hmm.
Or frequently, at least.
So,
yeah. I'm going to take a stroll around the merchant quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to learn about ninja there.
In the merchant quarter.
Yeah. What I'm not going to do is ask about ninja. So, basically, I want to try to read a situation there.
Yeah.
I also want to be looking for things in the shops I'm going to be going to different shops.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see if any of them stand out compared to it. Specifically, I guess, if anything is more mystical. I can tell you where I'm getting this thing because you look confused. But for now, okay, so maybe I share this with my fellow magistrates in my research in reading the journals. But in the accounts of the ninja, I found some trends. Oh, another question. What month are we?
Don't worry about it.
Well, okay.
That doesn't matter for whatever puzzle you were thinking.
But there were a bunch of events associated with ninja, at least in the telling of the people making up the stories. But a few of them have things in common, which is in the month of the dragon, a merchant shop burns down, and people say it was ninja. That happened 3 times among all the different mix of things. It's phrased different ways, it's framed different ways, but 3 times during the month of the dragon, a merchant shop burned down.
I like it.
So, the very first one, in Matsu Shigeko's first year as magistrate 5 years ago, a store that sold kimonos was burned to the ground in the month of the dragon. The shopkeeper claimed that the ninja had done it, but no further progress. Then later, a merchant was killed in the fisherman quarter. It happened during the month of the dragon. He was apparently tortured and killed in his own home, and his shop burned to the ground. And after that, or a few steps later, the ninja had laid low for almost 7 months. The next ninja-associated crime was the murder of a merchant in the license quarter during the month of the dragon. So that one didn't say that his house burned down, but again, the same month, and a merchant was murdered. So I want to see if this is a trend, if I can find a merchant who stands out as maybe having something either mystical or suspicious, or just something that makes him stand out, like maybe he'd be the next target for whatever reason. Can I find an association between the merchant quarter and...
Sure. Go ahead and roll that plus sagacious. All right.
He did
Very
it.
good.
He did it.
I was gonna give you a +1 on that for doing that research.
All right, that's 12.
12. All right.
I guess, what should I be on the lookout for?
All right. What should you be on the lookout for? You notice that people seem on edge. As you go through the merchant quarter, especially up in the Two Gates neighborhood, you see a lot more of the firemen kind of like out and about, seemingly like looking over their shoulders. And if you kind of talk to merchants, a lot of them are scared, and you don't need to bring up the ninja because they are worried not just about fires. The big thing that they're afraid of right now isn't the ninja. It's they're afraid of getting robbed by. There's several people who've been robbed by folks who want money for opium.
They're just like...
And so there's a lot more of these merchants are paying firemen, and I'll say as you go through some of the quarter, you'll notice that there are folks who are like actual, like yajimbos, like actual bodyguards who seemingly have been hired by wealthier merchants. And you'll go through some of these areas and see like Like, oh, this is a Ronin who's been hired to guard this merchant. Or you'll even see some samurai that are kind of like a view a more traditional samurai might have babysitting their merchants.
Okay. Well, which enemy is the biggest threat?
Biggest threat.
Just saying. Putting it out there. Demons.
Ooh, here's a way I'm going to put this to you. The enemy that's the biggest threat is opium, because as you talk to people, there's a lot less of it, and people are freaking out and are terrified. There's a shortage of it, is what you'll hear from people.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, there's way less, and it's hard to find, and people's behavior is getting real antsy.
So they need to make a whole bunch of it.
Oh god, this city's gonna burn to the ground around us.
Burn all the opium. Just everyone gets some.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it.
And then you're done, guys. This is the last round, boys and girls. I'm buying, but then you're done.
The haze fell over the city. Or just kill everybody who does opium. And then
These are all good.
clear it up.
Crazy.
Love that plan.
You didn't like Matsu Fukushu.
Right, but I'm just trying to solve the problem, Just brainstorming.
Speaking of solving the problem,
But yeah,
Ghost
so
would like to
that
meet
seems to be the biggest threat is opium, because even its absence is causing great problems.
Who is in control here?
The answer to that is Shosuro Hayobu, the governor. Barely.
Barely.
What's Aji up to?
I will pay a visit to Otato.
So to the Baishi Estate?
Yes.
All right. When you get there, there's some like retainers outside, some like samurai retainers. It's a pretty big, it's not a palace, but it's probably like the size of the magistrate residence. Like it's big. It's like as if a very wealthy, important Scorpion noble lives here. And yeah, there's some kind of Bayushi retainers outside, and a servant comes up to you to talk to you, and is like, "Oh, are you wearing your badge?"
Yes.
And I'm like, "Oh, magistrate, Sama."
Looking for Otato-san. Is he here?
And he'll say, "Oh, I'm ever so sorry, but my master's out at the moment."
Do you know where I could find him?
He says, "Oh, I'm sure he'll. If you'd like, I can have him contact you the moment he arrives."
I don't think that would work out.
Oh,
Do you mind me waiting here?
and he says, "Unfortunately, some of the there's some construction underway and in the household, and so it would not be the most comfortable. If you please, I assume I could send a message to you at your residence or the civil hall, but unfortunately we're not able to take guests."
No. Do you need any help with construction?
Oh no, I'm
handy with this all.
he says like oh you flatter us, of course, but please don't worry yourself over these small matters. Thank you so much. I'll let you know as soon as he returns.
All right. Read this person.
You're gonna read this guy?
The servant.
Sure.
Yes.
All right.
3.
So we got a 3 on that one. A 3 on a read a person roll.
That's good.
And the servant is impeccably polite. And
Pecking you.
yeah, my name is Peck and Paw. No, he's impeccably polite. He's very nice. He compliments you several times, but he's like they're not home. The moment they get here, I'll let you know. I could send someone with a message. If you have a message for them, we could take that, absolutely. And then they'll get it and can respond immediately.
Looks like I have to leave a message.
Oh, of course. If you just tell him, he'll write it down.
Yeah. Just would like to know if he knows anything about a death at the House of Foreign Stories. I'll also let him know that Senafusa swears on his honor that he is the likely culprit of the murder.
Uh-oh.
They're like, oh my, of course. I'll absolutely let them know this immediately, as soon as they get back.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Would you want to read a situation?
Feel that too.
Yeah, double up.
Do it.
There we go. Now that we got, what, 11?
An 11.
11. That's a little bit better. So this dude is this servant is an absolute pinnacle of what it means to be a servant. For sure. He's just the best damn servant anybody could imagine.
He was born to serve.
He was born in this. He was born to this. It literally. This is a caste society. All of you were. So, what are your 3 questions?
What should I be on the lookout for?
One easy thing to notice. What should you be on the lookout for? You look around. There are a lot of kind of like Baishi men-at-arms here. Like, you can see, like, with this servant kind of talking to you and kind of like hanging back, there's 2 guys doing that, and then probably up near the actual door, there's probably another 2 dudes.
Right.
And as you stand around, you might see like another one walk like past a window inside. So it's like there's a lot of kind of like men-at-arms here.
You would just see like servants or gardeners, whatever.
They probably wouldn't be so not easily spotted, but they probably wouldn't be so prominent. And so you're figuring that there's just a lot of them.
All right. What's my enemy's true position?
What is your enemy's true position? Your enemy's true position. Your enemy's true position is... this is a tough one because there's several ways that I could answer this depending on the situation here. So I'm going to answer it the easiest way. No, yeah.
You have no peace.
You're fine. No, you're...
man in the whole city.
Yeah. You noticed that Hiroshi died. Then Okasan died. Or Okasan died. Before that, Watchful died. People that are speaking to you guys are getting murdered. So somebody's out there killing these people, and you're thinking, what is my enemy's true position?
Watching us.
Just watching you guys.
Sounds good. Me being here is putting a marker here, right?
Sorry, servant kid.
Yeah.
You're dead now.
Boy.
What's the best way in?
To what?
You know about that question?
Yeah, what's the best way into heaven?
Best way in to steal the horse.
The best way in to find this horse?
Yeah.
Ooh. I'll say you can't tell something's up. That servant didn't give you any way into this house, but you realize that if you used your horse to commit a crime, and your horse was very, very noticeable, you wouldn't keep that horse around anymore. You know that horse is dead and buried somewhere. Or it was fed to some Ada.
Or horsey.
Mm-hmm. You know that majestic, beautiful beast is majestic, beautiful dog food at this point.
Fed the Ada, fed the Ada, fed the Ada. Is that a common song here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thought so.
Keep going, we'll harmonize with you.
It's a lot of steaks. Horse steaks.
Mm-hmm.
Stakes are high.
Yes.
Horses were wishes we all eat steak.
Yeah.
Mm.
Look at that line.
Tell the servant, do you mind me looking around?
Oh, well, of course. As soon as my lord returns, I'll let you know. I'll give him this message the moment he gets here, and I'll send you a message that he's returned.
Can I see the horse? There's this famous horse. It's supposedly the best in near all Rokugan.
So you know that's super rude to ask. Yes. So and he's like he repeats the same thing over and over again. Yeah. No. You know you're not getting into this.
All right.
Tayo, I'm moving these like quicker. You're waiting around at the Jade Cup still? Is that still the game plan?
Yeah, for lean meat.
Okay. I'm going to say you wait like a long while and eventually he does show up.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
The next day.
3 weeks.
No, it's definitely like a lot later than you think.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll make eye contact with him and then go up into a rooms upstairs.
Mm-hmm. He'll eventually join you as well, and he'll have like a bottle of sake with him, or someone will come, like a servant will come in, like equivalent of a waiter or a waitress will come in and kind of serve you guys this stuff, and then go out again, kind of up there, and you can smell like the faint, hazy, perfumey, incense-like smell of opium.
I guess doesn't seem like popular as I used to be.
He says, I don't mean to offend, but there's with magistrates coming around and asking questions, it puts me in a difficult place. And he's not as smiley as the first time you met him, for sure. And he says, I want to make sure that I can keep running my game and there aren't any problems. And the more questions that are asked, the tougher this gets.
This might be a better place for us to meet, I guess, before the street.
And he says, as long as I can keep... He's like, I enjoy running my game, and honestly, that's what I want to continue to do.
Good. I still depend on you to get to hear the whispers that wouldn't be able to otherwise. I was hoping to get a better perspective on what's going on. Soshi Serioku, I guess, recently failed business. Know anything of that? Have you heard anything?
I'm saying, I haven't heard anything much more than other folks. So, I mean, as a magistrate, I'm sure that you can talk to the Thunder Guard and they'll tell you what's up. You're trying to read this guy?
Trying to manipulate him into telling me something.
I know, but you haven't given him anything he wants.
We have a standing agreement, right?
I think that agreement you got to make a roll on something.
What would you like to do?
You should probably read him to see what's up.
We have a standing agreement.
Something seems up. You spooked this horse.
Sweet boy.
10.
10, pretty good.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Jesus, sir. For the rolls.
How could I get your character to honor his agreement that you made with me?
He wants out of it. So he doesn't want to be involved with this stuff. He wants to go back to having a dice game that he plays. He wants less heat on him.
Does that answer how I can get him to, or how I can get that character to do that? I think no.
if you could show him that he'll be essentially like left alone, he can give you something, but he doesn't want to continue that relationship.
I guess our partnership's at an end is what I'm getting.
And he says, I appreciate what you do. It's just gotten too dangerous. Watchful got murdered. I don't need that to happen to me. And I hang out with a crew of guys that are not the nicest.
The fire eaters?
He says almost everybody in the fisherman quarter, but yeah, especially them.
Are they related to this then?
And he'll say, related to
why you're so scared?
And he's like, yeah.
Why you're such a coward?
There you go.
He says, he's like, I rely on those guys. I rely on those guys as good players in the games and to keep things safe. One of the things they keep me safe from is them.
And so, are they the ones that don't want us talking anymore?
So, I don't want to give them any reason to suspect me of selling them out in any way. And people are getting real tense these days after Watchful got killed.
What do you know about that?
He says, I know she got killed. I know she was involved in opium. And if one of them can get killed, what am I? I gotta tread real carefully. If somebody like her could get killed, somebody like me needs to be real careful.
So you don't know anything about what's going on? You don't know why everyone's so tense all of a sudden?
I say, like I told you, nobody feels safe. With something like that happening, who could?
What does that have to do with the magistrates?
He said, everybody's real jumpy. They don't know where the next problem's going to come from. The more I lay low and I just focus on the dice, the better.
Why are you scared of magistrates over firemen or anyone else?
He says, I don't want anybody to think I'm betraying them.
And do I have a reputation of betraying you then? Why? I don't understand why you're scared of me. I thought we had an arrangement.
And he said, one of the other magistrates came down to the boat to ask me questions.
Who was that?
And he says, I'm pretty sure he won't even say the name. He's like, the giant guy. So Ishii.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What are the giant guys you think he's talking about?
Yeah. Well, ample
Right, you're
big.
giant.
Yeah. But he says these are real rough times. I used to just want to play a game. Things have gotten crazy. I want to just go back to that.
And so, just because the other magistrate visits you is why you're nervous?
He says that goes on. Somebody gets killed. People are starting to wonder who's safe and who's not safe. And if I'm seen talking to magistrates, or if I'm seen talking to the wrong people, the guys I rely on to keep me safe might think I'm a threat.
Is your character telling the truth?
Yes.
What does your character intend to do?
What he wants to do is to lay low, just have his game, and hopefully all of this stuff blows over. So that's his goal right now, is lie low. Not that I'm saying lie low. Yeah.
I saw a movie with Stitch.
Lie low and Stitch, yeah.
Like there's a fifth element. It's low. And I suppose I'll let you get back to your job, and I guess we have no relationship anymore.
He says, I'm just trying to stay safe.
The next day, he's dead.
No, and I'll just I'll just stand up and walk to the other side of the room, turn my back, wait for him to leave. And as he leaves,
Yeah.
be like, I guess this means I can't protect you anymore either. As he leaves, I think Tyler's really mad.
Yeah. Is that your attempt at manipulation?
I think it's more of a fuck you.
City of Lies is Tone as Kakita Aji, Brandon as Hida Ishii, David as Baishi Tayo, Andrew as Agasha Yugure, and Austin as your Game Master. The theme music for City of Lies is Mission of Danger by Lobo Loco. Additional music for this episode includes Into Hyperspace by the Astrometrics, and this episode's intro was done by Scott. This American Dice Ryoko Owari City of Lies uses the City of Lies box set by Greg Stolz, published by Alderac Entertainment Group. The mechanics used is a modified PBTA system by Brendan Taylor of Galileo Games. Join us next time for more This American Dice.